We now have another superstar for you, Matt Stanton. He lives in Sydney. He has written books about the fart monster. Now, those would be useful for those of you who don't fart, because that will help you build your imagination. He's here today to talk to you about the Funny Kids series. He is well on his way now to have sold 1 million books. That is the magic million for Australian authors, and he's over halfway there and moving very quickly. So let's not waste any more time. I'll have some announcements for you before lunch. Let's just lift the roof off with a big welcome for Matt Stanton.
Hello. How is everyone today? Good, good. My name's Matt. What's your name? Excellent. I've got it. Hi, Sophie. Was there a Sophie? Yes, I heard you. See? Hi, Sophie. Hi, Logan. Is there a Logan? Heard you too. 2 Logans, heard both of you at the same time. Hi, Beryl. Is there a Beryl? There's an entire class of Beryls. What is the chances? That's amazing. I've never seen so many boys called Beryl. That's amazing. Well, hey, so thanks for having me. I'm from Sydney and flew across the country the other day, and it's really, really fun to be here. Let's get to know each other a little bit before we talk about books and stuff. I want to know the most amazing thing that's ever happened in your life. Someone tell me an amazing story. And I'm not talking about, like, last week we went to Queensland. Like, I mean, like, come on, tell me something, like, amazing. Something that I'm going to have trouble believing, okay? Yes. You went on a cruise ship around Malaysia. Excellent. This kid went to 7 countries in one day. Can anyone top 7 countries in one day? Okay, wonderful. All right, come on, give me another amazing story. Something I'm going to struggle to believe. Yes. Whoa, cool. Excellent. Another one? Haha, good one. That's very nice of you. I'll give you, like, stuff later. Yes. Okay, this kid met a real unicorn. What's your name? Hey, Tom. So Tom met a horse with a horn. Is that normal? I don't know stuff about horses. Some horses have horns. Did it poop rainbows? You didn't stay around long enough to find out. Excellent. Let me tell you the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm supposed to tell you, you know, it's the day I got married, or it's the 3 times we've had children. We've got 3 children. Anyway, we've got 3 kids. I'm supposed to say something like that. But actually, the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me is I once vomited on top of Parliament House. Parliament House in Canberra, the capital of our country. I spewed all over the roof. So much so that you're actually not allowed to go up there anymore. So you used to, has anyone been to Parliament House in Canberra? Some of you. So there's these big grass hills that run up the side, and the original design of the building was like everyone should be out, like the general public should generally just be able to walk all over it and explore our capital. And so I went there and decided to run up the hill as fast as I possibly could with a mate of mine, and I won the race, which was good, but I slightly overexerted myself and spewed all over the roof, which I like to think, like, right below me was the Prime Minister kind of working something out. It's like a different kind of leadership spill. So anyway, you can't do this anymore, and I don't know, they've put big fences up and they've blocked it off. I don't know if that's because kids like me kept spewing on it. Let me find the clicker. Hang on, here we go. Here's the clicker. Great. Let me introduce you to my squad. This is my family. This is Beck here, who I'm married to, and she's wonderful. This is Bonnie. Bonnie is 6. She just had a birthday party the other day. We had a paint party. I had like 50 kids and paint in a house because we are stupid. Then this is Boston down here. Boston is 3. Now, Boston and I like to talk to each other in Batman voices, which is like when you talk really deeply and like you have a throat infection and you pause at really awkward moments. And the fun thing at the moment is that Boston is learning how to use the toilet. And so you end up saying things to him like, Boston, you have toilet paper sticking out of your pants. Boston asked me the other day in a public place if I can poop standing up too. These are the sort of conversations we have at home. This is Miller. Miller's our baby, and she's 1, and this is us. So Beck and I, we run a company. We create funny books. We create funny books for kids. We create a whole bunch of different series. Beck used to be a teacher. I used to be a graphic designer. We love books. We love making people laugh, and so this is what we do. So these are the books that we have made so far, and you'll recognize some of them hopefully. So there's the Funny Kids series at the top. So we make those, we do all the writing, and I do all the writing and all of the illustrations in those. Then we've got the Books That Drive Kids Crazy series, which is this set of picture books here, which is they're really good for annoying your younger brothers and sisters, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then there's the Fart Monster and Friends picture book series, which I do with a mate of mine, Tim Miller. Those books are really gross because he is really gross. I always say that when he's not here to defend himself. And then we have the Fart Monster and Me books there that Tim does the writing and I do the illustrating. So that's what we do. If you've ever wondered what does an author or an illustrator look like when they're working, this is my working Bitmoji. So this is me working. What I normally do is I sit at a desk. I do all of my writing and all of my illustrating straight into the computer. So I've got a laptop. In fact, while Eddie was on just before, I was like through that wall colouring in a flamingo. So I've got a pen and a Wacom tablet that plugs into the laptop, and I do all of my drawing straight into the computer. And obviously my writing that way too. I sit on a ball most of the time to try and improve my posture. Not that you can tell that in the Bitmoji. And I like to listen to loud music while I work. So this is my job. This is what I do. I think I've got the best job in the entire universe. I have lots of fun. We're creating new books all the time. These are the new ones that are just coming out this year. So we've got The Book That Never Ends and 2 new Fart Monster and Me books. We're doing 3 Funny Kid books this year. And then Happy Farters Day for the special farter in your life. And Pea and Nut, which is a brand new picture book series, and they were the flamingos I was colouring in earlier. Now, when I visit schools or writers' festivals, I like to read one of my books. So is that okay with you if I read one of my books to you? Yeah. Excellent. Now, I need a volunteer for this to come and help me. Now, before you put your hands up, let me tell you what is going to be required of you. We are going to read The Book That Never Ends. Right? And the goal with this book is to try and find the end of the book. And you've got to answer lots of questions. So the person that comes up here, for a start, you need to be comfortable with the fact that there's about a gazillion eyes looking at you. Okay? So if you're like, I've got a pimple on the end of my nose and I don't want to make that public, then don't come up. Also, you're going to have to answer a lot of questions and you're going to answer them nice and quick. Okay? So be someone who's decisive, feeling confident, and happy to have lots of people looking at you. Yes, can you please come up? Wonderful. Excellent. Now, what is your name? Say it again. Drew. Nice to meet you, Drew. My name is Matt. Come over here. Everyone say hi, Drew. All right, Drew. Now, let's come stand here so people can kind of see, and we'll just try not to fall off. So this book is called The Book That Never Ends, Drew. And we're going to read it. I'm going to ask you lots of questions, and you're going to try and get to the end. Does that sound good? Okay, here we go. Hello! Let's read this book together. But first, before we start, we need to check that we both understand something, Drew. Where is the end of this snake? Can you point to it? Yep, excellent. And what do you do at the end of a concert? You clap. That's right. Yes, excellent. And how do you end the day? You sleep. Wonderful. Good. We all know what an end is. Fantastic. The problem is no one knows how to get to the end of this book, Drew. They say that there was a kid who once worked it out, but that can't be true. No kid could ever find the end of this book. That's right, Drew, including you. Do you think you can find the end? Oh, you do. Drew is feeling confident today. Excellent. We're about to break Drew's spirit. Wonderful. Okay, so remember that you read most books from front to back, right, Drew? Well, not this book. Reading this book will take you from the front to the middle, to halfway to the middle, to nearly to the back, to the front, to the who knows where, as we try and find the end. Still want to give it a go? Excellent. All right, let's turn the page. Here we go, Drew. I spy with my little eye. Now, Drew, if you look at this picture and you see a butterfly, then we are going to go and find the lion. And if you see a bear, then we are going to go and find the tree. Do you look at this? Does this look more like a butterfly to you or more like a bear? Looks like a butterfly. Okay, so let's go find the lion. The lion. Okay, this is a lion. Now, Drew, you should only pat a happy lion. Okay, does this lion look happy to you? Would you pat it? You would. If it looks happy and you would pat it, go and find the socks. Okay, excellent, socks. The other thing I was going to say, Drew, is we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to try and speed this up a little bit and get this over with so that we don't waste all of your time reading this one book. Okay, is that all right? All right, let's speed this up. Okay, good. Drew, you forgot to put your socks in the wash. Not just one pair of socks, but all of your socks. What do? Do you wear no socks and run the risk of getting blisters, or do you wear a pair of your stinky socks again? Tell the truth, Drew. The first one. You wear no socks and run the risk of getting blisters. Go and find the dog. Okay, dog. Dog. What do you call a magical dog? To find the answer, turn the page. A labracadabrador! Excellent. Some people prefer dogs, Drew, and some people prefer cats. Do you prefer dogs or cats? Dogs. Okay, you prefer dogs, go find the ladder. Okay. All right, let's speed this up. Ladder. Climb this ladder back one page over the brick wall. Okay, good. Okay, brick wall. If you were going to hide something behind this wall, Drew, what would you hide? A sandwich for later, a lion so that it didn't eat you, or all your dirty socks? All your dirty socks. All your dirty socks, go find the socks. Drew, we just did the socks. All right, okay. I thought I said we were in a hurry. Okay, here we go. You forgot to put all your socks in the wash, Drew. Not just one pair of socks, all your socks. What do? Do you wear no socks and get blisters, or do you wear a pair of your stinky socks again? Wear no socks and get blisters. Okay, go find the dog. Drew, we've done this bit already. Okay, what do you call a magical dog, Drew? Turn the page to find out. A labracadabrador. Ha, ha, ha. It wasn't funny the first time. Okay, some people prefer dogs and some people prefer cats. Drew, do you prefer dogs or cats? Cats. Okay. But you said dogs. Drew's a liar. Okay. All right. So you prefer cats. Go find the tree. Okay, tree. Where is the tree? Tree. Okay. Drew, you are halfway up a tree. You're doing very well, by the way. Do you keep climbing up or do you turn around and climb down, Drew? Keep on going up. Okay, go find the train. The train. Okay, look at this train. Hop on and take a ride to the dog. The dog? Drew, we've done the dog. This is going to take all day. You're not going to get to see Dr. Carl because we're still going to be reading this book. What do you call a magical dog? Okay, turn the page to find out. A labracadabrador. Ha, ha, ha. Good. Okay, do you prefer dogs or cats, Drew? And I don't know what to believe because you've told me the truth and then you've lied and then I don't know. Dogs. Okay, you prefer dogs. Go find the ladder. All right. Climb this ladder back one page over the brick wall. If you were going to hide something behind this wall, what would you hide? A sandwich for later, a lion so that it didn't eat you, or all your dirty socks? A sandwich for later. Go find the sandwich. All right. Man, it's taking forever. Okay, you have to share your sandwich with a friend, Drew. Do you give them the bigger piece or the smaller piece? Tell the truth. The smaller piece. Thank you for being honest. Horrible, but honest. Okay, good. Okay, you give them the smaller piece. Go find the socks. The socks! Drew! He says, I don't know what I'm going to do. If we can't finish this, then... Okay. You've got to put your socks in the wash, not just one pair of socks, all your socks. What do you do? Do you wear no socks and run the risk of getting blisters, or do you wear a pair of your stinky socks again? You wear the stinky socks again? Drew, that's disgusting. Drew, are you doing that now? I thought I could smell something up here. Okay, stinky socks again, go find the book. The book? Hang on, the book's all the way back here. Okay, are you going to read this book? Reading this book will make you from the front to the middle to halfway to the middle to all to the back to the front to the who knows where. Oh, forget it. Okay, turn the page. Good. Do you see a butterfly or a bear? A bear. Okay, liar. Okay, a tree. The tree. We've done the tree. You're halfway up a tree. You keep climbing up or you turn around and climb down. Down. Okay, go find the toothbrush. Where's the toothbrush? Should know, I drew all the pictures. Okay, it's important that you brush your teeth twice a day, Drew, morning and night. Do you always brush your teeth twice a day? Tell the truth. Do you all? Yes. You do always brush your teeth twice a day. Okay, if you do, go find the train. Oh, look at this train. Hop on and take a ride to the dog. The dog, Drew! We've done the dog! You're doing very well. What do you call a magical dog? A labracadabrador. Oh, thank you for being so polite. That's wonderful. Okay, some people prefer dogs and some people prefer cats. Drew, do you prefer dogs or cats? Dogs. Go find the ladder. Background page over the brick wall. If you're going to hide something behind the wall, what would you hide? A sandwich for later, a lion so it didn't eat you, or all your dirty socks? Let's finish this thing, please. The lion so that it didn't eat you. Go and find the lion. We've done the lion. Trying to be patient. I'm just going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is a lion, Drew. You should only pat a happy lion. Does lion look happy to you? Would you pat it? No. You wouldn't pat it. If it doesn't look happy for you, doesn't look happy and you wouldn't pat it, go and find the dog! Well done. You did a very good job. Everybody give Drew a very big clap. Well done, mate. That was very good. So, as you can see, I make quite silly books. And that book is really, really good for annoying your younger brothers and sisters. What did I do with my phone? There it is. For annoying your brothers and sisters. It is also handy to ask your parents to read to you just before bedtime. So I thought I would show you a book that I'm working on right now. You know how I told you just before I was just through that wall working on colouring in a flamingo? Well, that was for this book. I don't know if you, when you're creating stories in class or you're doing an artwork or anything like that in school, whether kind of you just do it once or whether you have to do drafts and whether it takes a few times. Well, I thought I would show you what it's like for me. I have to do things over and over and over again. And I thought I would show you an example with this cover. So this is Pea and Nut, and that's the cover as we have it at the moment, but it didn't start that way. My ideas, I'm using my imagination all the time. I'm trying to create new things, and my job is to try and make each bit as funny as I can. And that means constantly developing the idea. Creativity is work, right? It's work just like anything else. And it's fun work, and I love it, right? But you're constantly kind of asking, is this the best it could be? What if we changed it? Could we do it differently? And so Pea and Nut started as Joe versus Poe. This was the original idea over here. It was blue, and there was no flamingo in it at all. It was a frog. Okay, so I had a frog and a panda. And then we were sort of playing around with different colors and things like that, and then we thought, well, hang on a minute. I've seen lots of frogs in books, but I haven't seen heaps of flamingos. Maybe it would be funnier if the character, this Joe character, was a flamingo. And so then I started playing around with that, but then we were also thinking, who's seen Kung Fu Panda? What's the name of the panda? Poe, exactly, right, which I had forgotten, right, when I was originally creating it. Now, Poe in Kung Fu Panda is a boy, and you spell Poe differently. My Poe is a girl, and has an H on the end of her name. But we still kind of thought, you know what, that's probably a little bit similar to have another panda called Po. So if I'm going to change the name of Po, then I'm also probably going to change the name of Joe because it's got a whole rhyming thing going on. And so then I came up with P and Nut and started doing it with the flamingo. And then my job before I was doing my own books was as a graphic designer, as a book designer, right? And so one of the things that I do a lot and did a lot is typography. Does anyone know what typography is? Some of you. So typography is when you're working with the letter shapes, you're choosing fonts, and you're trying to make the type as expressive as you can. Right, because you want everything to be working together to be making the story as great and as funny as you can. So this is an example of kind of playing around with typography here. Trying different letters and different fonts to try and make Nut feel kind of crazy and expressive. Because basically the story is about P, who is this like super zen, chilled out panda, and then Nut, who is the most hyperactive and annoying flamingo you've ever met in your life. So then we kind of landed here, and then we go over there. And so then my job, so I've written the story, and then we start working on this, and now that I've kind of worked out I've got this sort of one image of the characters, but if you're making a book, you've got to draw these characters over and over and over again. And so, and you can't draw them the same way all the time. And so the next job is to kind of work out what might they look like with different expressions and from different angles. Who here likes drawing? Wonderful, excellent. So one of the things with drawing when you create a character is like, it can be, you might draw the character great from the front, right? But then when you kind of work out what they look like on the side, you've still got to try and work out how to make it look like them. Has anyone heard of Peanuts comic strips or Charlie Brown, Snoopy? There's a great story about Charlie Brown, which is illustrated by Charles Schulz, who is a genius. But if you look at Charlie Brown from the front and you look at Charlie Brown on the side, he still looks like Charlie Brown, but he doesn't actually match. His nose moves. His nose moves location. And because that's one of the things you're trying to do, is you want it to feel like the character in 3 dimensions, but it's a balance between that and exactly where the sort of features are. So this is what I'm kind of practicing here. And then there's P there, trying to play around with P too. And then basically from here on out, my job is coloring in. Excellent. Now, who here is creative? Wonderful. Hands down. Who here is not creative? Cool. Excellent. Now, I have a theory. And my theory is that everybody actually can be creative, that everyone has an imagination, and that your imagination inside your head is this incredibly powerful thing because it can create things that don't exist, right? And so what I would love is I would love a volunteer to come and do an experiment with me, and I would like that volunteer, if you are okay with this, to be someone who doesn't feel particularly creative, who doesn't really like drawing. You're not going to have to draw. And who doesn't particularly like writing. Someone that is happy to come and do a bit of an experiment with me. Yes. Could you come out, please? Okay, so here's what we are going to do. Hi, what's your name?
Miller.
Hi, Miller. I have a daughter called Miller. With an A on it. 2 L's, 1 L.
2 L's?
2 L's with an A.
Yes.
Excellent. M-I-L-L-A.
Yes.
Lovely to meet you, Miller. Excellent. So, does anyone ever have that feeling when you're going to, when you say you've got to write a story in class or you've got to create something for art or something like that, and you've got a blank piece of paper and you're like, I got nothing. Ever have that feeling? Like I've just got no ideas at all, right? This happens to me all the time. Now, that's a problem for me because if I don't have any ideas, I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, my children don't eat. And if my children, let's not follow that. So my job, I have to come up with ideas, right? And so I have this little trick, this little exercise that I do, and this is what we're going to do now. You see, what Miller is about to do for us, and it's going to be easy for you, don't worry. Miller is about to create a brand new character that nobody's ever seen before in the history of the world. Okay? No pressure. So, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask Miller a series of questions, okay? Easy questions. And then I'm going to be Miller's illustrator. We're going to use her imagination, and I'll just draw, okay? And we're going to create a character. And the point of this exercise, I use this all the time as a warm-up. You can do this yourself if you want to. A boy or a girl? A boy, okay. And will our boy character have big eyes or little eyes? Ginormous eyes. Okay, great. Excellent. Ginormous eyes. Now, you know that this is a boy because in the world of cartoons, boys don't get eyelashes. Only girls get eyelashes. Okay, Miller, next question. Does our character have a big nose or a little nose? A tiny nose. Excellent. Whoop. Wonderful. All right, next question. Does our boy character have a big mouth or a little mouth?
A medium size.
Can you pick big or little for me?
Giant.
Giant. Okay, excellent. Bigger than the eyes. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, Miller, does our boy character have big ears or little ears? Big ears, okay. Wonderful. Looking good. Okay, next question is 2 questions, Miller. First question, does our character have long hair or short hair?
Short, spiky hair.
Short, spiky hair. Okay, that answers the second question. The second question was going to be curly or straight. So let's go for short, straight hair. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, now, have you noticed how every question that I've asked Miller so far has been a this or a that question, right? It's been big or small, long or short, curly or straight, right? Now, this or that questions are easy to answer because you just pick one, okay? And already we've started to create a character that's looking interesting. Now I'm going to ask Miller, now that her imagination is kind of warmed up a little bit, I'm going to ask Miller a question that's not a this or a that question. I'm going to ask Miller what our character should be wearing. Okay? Now, Miller, there's 2 rules to this. The first rule, Miller, is that our character must be wearing something. Because what always happens every time I do this is someone goes, naked! Which is hilarious. So let's all laugh about it now and get it out of our system. Good. Okay. And the second rule, so it must be wearing something. And second rule is that because we're stretching our imagination and we're trying to create an original character, right? I'm less interested in like t-shirt, shorts, pants, dress, right? And I'm more interested in like cheese or the moon. Or you can see my train of thought there. So, Miller, do you have any ideas for random weird things that are not normally clothes that our character could be wearing?
It could wear half a tomato.
Half a tomato. Excellent. All right, let's do the top half of a tomato and then like splat. Half a tomato. Let's stick one leg out there. One leg out there. All right, and Miller, can you think of a name for your character?
Johnny the Tomato Kid.
Johnny the Tomato Kid. Johnny the Tomato Kid. Okay, can everybody please give Miller a very big clap? Thank you very much. Thank you for your help. Wonderful. Now, can I tell you something cool? I have done this exercise with like tens of thousands of kids all across Australia for the last couple of years. And no class, no group, no single person has ever created Johnny the Tomato Kid like that, right? Even though I ask exactly the same questions every single time. And that is because your imagination, sometimes it just needs a little bit of help, right? Your imagination, sometimes it just needs a little kind of step by step. And so say you had to write a funny story in class, right? Or a story in class. So you start like this, you create your character. And now you're halfway to creating a brand new original story. Because now you're not thinking, oh, what story should I write? You're like, what could happen to Johnny the Tomato Kid? Okay? Now, so let me give you a couple of tips on writing funny stories, okay? Because this is what I do all day long. Now, the first tip for writing funny stories is that you need to know that there are two types of words in the world. Boring words and funny words. Okay? It should be color-coded in the dictionary, but it's not. Let me give you an example. Boring words. Grey. Blah. Grass. Boring word. Air. It's everywhere. Towel. Boring word. Now let me give you some examples of some funny words. Boink. Pickle bum. Codswallop. Bum fluff. Now, who knows Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss is the master of funny words, okay? The absolute master of funny words. And if you're thinking about, like, what's the difference between a funny word and a boring word, who knows what a vowel is? Who knows what a consonant is? You will notice that there are a lot more strong consonant sounds in the funny words and a lot more vowel sounds in the boring words, okay? So, where you can use a funny sounding word, particularly the letter K. The letter K is the funniest letter. If you can use the word K in a word, it'll help you make funnier sounds. Okay, excellent. So you're going to use funny words versus boring words. But do you ever get stuck? When you're writing a story, do you ever get stuck? Do you ever get to this point and you're like, I don't know what to do now? Or I don't know what happened to the story? Or I just put all of my characters in a hole and I can't get them out? Like an actual hole. Well, so I have to do this for a job, right? So I can't just have that as a problem. I need to come up with a solution for that. And so I have come up with a rule. And this is the rule. If you're stuck, put a in it. Okay? And the word that is missing there is, if you're stuck, put a but in it. Put a but in it. Hands up if you're thinking about bottoms right now. Good. Visualize the bottom, okay? Some of you are visual learners. Visualize the bottom. It will help you remember it. Of course, I'm not talking about a butt with two T's, you gross people. I'm talking about a butt with one T, right? And here's what I mean. Here's what I mean, and before your teachers all get annoyed at me, because there are teachers scowling at me right now that are like, my students are going to go back and then go, but in their stories. That's not what I mean, okay? What I mean is, I use the word but to help me get out of story problems, okay? So who can tell me a prank? What's a prank? Give me an example of a prank, yes.
Something that you make someone else look like an idiot.
Yep, give me an example of an actual prank, yep. A whoopee cushion. Okay. So what's your name?
Georgia.
Hi, Georgia. Okay, so Georgia has just pranked me with a whoopee cushion, right? Here's how pranks work. Pranks work on this exact idea of putting a but in it. Jokes are the same and stories work the same way. One thing was supposed to happen, but then something else happened instead. Okay, so a prank, I've just been pranked by Georgia with the whoopee cushion. I sat down thinking I was just going to have a lovely, quiet relax when, right? But I got pranked with a whoopee cushion, okay? All pranks work that way. Now, I use that all the time to get out of story problems. this is what was happening and this is where I was going. What happens if I put a but in it? What if I said, but then something totally random or something totally different happened instead? Where would that take the story? Now, I'm going to give you an example of that to finish us off. And I'm going to read a little chapter from Funny Kid Prank Wars, because I spent my whole time using this idea in this book. This is Max in the middle. Max, Hugo, Tyson. They're with their class. They're on a camping trip, okay? Now, they've just canoed to the other side of the lake, which is why Max and Hugo are soaking wet. Tyson was in a different canoe. He didn't capsize. These guys capsized, right? So Tyson's got his lunch, but the other two, they don't have any lunch because that was in their canoe when they lost it when they capsized. Okay? Now, what you need to know for this story is that Max and Tyson are in a prank war, okay? They are pranking each other backwards and forwards. And I was writing this chapter, and I'll show you how I use this but idea. Okay. Every time I see you, you're soaking wet, Tyson says as he sits down on the log next to Hugo and me with his lunch. We've all made it to the picnic spot on the other side of the lake, and everyone is sitting down to eat their sandwiches. Hugo and I are still dripping, feeling sorry for ourselves. Pip and Abby are sitting opposite us, scowling. Apparently they wanted lunch too. Their lunch was in the boys' canoe. Delicious. Tyson finishes his sandwich and rubs his tummy with a big grin on his face. What a wonderful lunch. Shut up, I mumble. Suddenly, Tyson's tummy lets out an enormous rumble. We all stare, and Tyson's smiling face twists into a look of pained confusion. Are you all right there, Tyson? Pip asks. Yep, he replies. Grumble, burp, thud. I need to see Miss Sweet. He gets up and runs to find the teacher. I wonder what's gotten into him. Hugo leans towards me and whispers, I put some of my beans in his breakfast this morning. My eyes open wide, and I look at my friend with a big beaming smile. You what? When Mr. Burt was handing out eggs this morning, I put a whole lot of my beans onto Tyson's plate. Once I gave it to him, he thought everyone had them. I wanted to help you out in your little prank war. Hugo, you are awesome. I whisper back, there's nothing little about this prank war. This is going to be the nuclear strike. We look over, and sure enough, Tyson is hopping from one foot to the other and pleading with Miss Sweet. I glance around us. We're in the park on the opposite side of the lake from the campground. There's no toilet over here. Okay, so this is the but, right? This is the Tyson was canoeing with everyone else over to the other side, but he got pranked, and now he's in a situation where he needs a toilet and there isn't one. But then I was like, can I make this more interesting? Can I make my story more interesting by putting another but in it? What if this was going to happen, but then this happened, but then this happened instead? Okay? Could I make it funnier and more interesting? So here we go. Max, can you come here a minute? I realise Miss Sweet and Tyson are looking towards us. I didn't do anything, I yell back. This time it's actually the truth. Doesn't seem to matter to Miss Sweet. She glares at me, so I get up and head over. Max, Miss Sweet whispers when I get there, I need your help. Tyson's got a bit of a situation. I need you to help him out. What on earth does that mean? She reaches into her canoe and pulls out a small shovel. I need you to go with your friend Tyson here into the woods over there where it's nice and private and dig him a quick hole. Ooh, no, I can't do that. Yes, you can, Max, and you will. Tyson can't really do it himself right now. Look at him. I look at Tyson. He's bouncing up and down, slowly starting to resemble a puffer fish in the microwave. Okay, quick, go now, Miss Sweet orders. I glance back at Hugo, terrified. He is suddenly no longer awesome. Come on, Max, Tyson says. He's already hopping off towards the tree line. Oh, this is horrible. How did this even happen? 1 minute we're having a prank war, and the next I have to dig a toilet for the enemy before he explodes. I drag my feet behind Tyson until I realize the longer I take, the worse it's going to be for me. I need to dig that hole and get out of there before he blows up. I'm running now, straight past Tyson to a spot behind some trees, and then I'm digging like crazy. Quick, quick, quick. Hurry up, Max. Tyson, don't you dare poo. I don't think I can hold it any longer, he grunts. I wave frantically at the hole. Is that enough? Is it deep enough? How do you know how deep to dig a toilet? Tyson looks down and shakes his head. Deeper. It's going to need to be much deeper. I keep digging like crazy. I've never done anything with this much urgency. I would rather be anywhere else in the world right now. Anywhere. There's dirt flying up in every direction now. I'm like a dog trying to find a bone. I don't care where the dirt goes. I just want to get this hole finished and get out of here. I can't hold anymore, Max, Tyson yells. It's coming out. Ah! I throw the shovel over my shoulder, clamber across the mound of dirt, and dive for cover. Boom! I never looked back. I never checked to see the damage. I emerged from the woods a shell of my former self, cold, wet, covered in dirt, and vowing never to speak of what just happened. Thank you. Now, we've got just a couple of minutes for questions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus questions up the back, if that's all right.
Yep.
We've got a microphone up there because I've picked on you guys a lot. Okay?
Yeah, we have just the time for a few questions.
How long does it take you to think of other ideas when you're making a book?
Oh, that's a great question. How long does it take to think of other ideas? So I've kind of got ideas happening all the time, and then I just write them down so that I try not to forget them. But then I'm making lots of books at the same time, and that's kind of how I like to work. Like, we're doing 8 books this year. So I'm drawing one, and I'm writing another, and then I'm trying to think of ideas for another, so I'm doing all of it at the same time. And I find kind of keeping really busy and doing lots of it all at the same time keeps my imagination, like, running. Yeah.
How old were you when you wrote your first book?
How old was I when I wrote my first book? So when I published my first book, I was 29. When I wrote my first story, I was 5. And I can remember that story because my teacher threw it in the bin. The story was, one day I went to the toilet and the room turned green. My mum stuck her head in the door and she turned green too. The end. And my teacher told me I would never get anywhere writing silly stories. Ha ha!
Now, Matt, we have a question from a girl who travelled more than 2 hours to be here today.
Oh, what? Wow.
How long does it take you to write a book?
How long does it take me to write a book? That is a great question, and thank you for travelling so far. It depends on the book. So Funny Kid book takes about 6 months, but it's spread, I'm doing lots of things at the same time. So it's about 6 months worth of work spread across a year, because I'm doing, like, I'm just about to start writing Funny Kids 7, right? I've just finished illustrating Funny Kids 6, and we've just sent Funny Kid 5 to the printer. So they're all kind of happening at the same time. But it's about 6 months worth of work spread across time. Yeah?
How many Funny Kid books have you written?
So there are 4 that have been published. There will be another 3 this year. And at the moment, we have 2 more planned for next year, so that'll take us to 11.
What's your favourite book that you've written?
Oh, tricky question. That's like asking me my favourite kid one of my favourite kids. And, I mean, I've got one, but I'm not going to tell you. It depends who I'm hanging out with. If I'm really little kids, then I love the picture books because we can have fun with those. If I'm with older kids, I like the Funny Kid series. So Funny Kid probably the most because that's where I have the most words and the most pictures to play with. They're about 250 pages long, so I've got heaps to work with. Yeah.
Last question.
What motivated you to write funny books?
What motivated me to write funny books? That's a great question. So I love reading. I've always loved reading. I love the fact that I can use my imagination. I can use that thing that's just in my head that just makes up stupid stuff. I can use that to make other people laugh. And I really like the feeling of making other people laugh. It feels good. So that's what I like doing. I like the fact that I can work with nothing to start with. I can just use what's in my head to make something up, and that could bring joy or enjoyment to someone else is just a really cool feeling. So that's why I love doing it. Hey, could you give yourselves a massive clap? Thank you so much for having me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you very much.
Now you've given yourself a big clap. Let's give Matt Stanton a big clap.
Thank you.